Markram and the middle order power South Africa to the joint highest successful chase ever against India in men's ODIs. South Africa gunned down 359, which means Virat Kohli and Gaikwad stunts from earlier in the day go in vain, and the visitors set up a series decider in Vizag. Three centurions on the day in Raipur, and yet the story of this contest was perhaps decided by the events after their knocks were done. Because the tale of this game lies in the contrasting returns after the 34th over mark. India were 249 for 2, then they lost Gaikwad, a little later they lost Kohli, and eventually the last 16 overs saw them add only 109, despite 18 coming in the last over. KL Rahul had a good outing, but Washington Sundar and Ravindra Jadeja really struggled. This is where we also have to commend the efforts of the South African seamers, because Marco Jansen and Lungi Ngidi between them bowled 8 of the last 15 overs, conceding just 38 runs and taking 2 wickets, and Ngidi's last 4 went for just 15. In stark contrast, South Africa, after the 34th over mark, added nearly 150 runs at nearly 10 per over, 68 of which came in the first 6 overs after the 34th over was done. You can't really compete in a 350 plus chase without a strong foundation, and that was provided to South Africa by Aiden Markram, who notched up his first ODI 100 while chasing and his first as opener. Arshdeep Singh kept the lid on the runs initially, but Markram was particularly commanding against India's spinners. 64 of 49 against the spin trio combined, and he stitched what were really valuable partnerships. First, one to keep South Africa in the chase with Captain Temba Bavuma, then one to build some momentum with Matthew Breedsker. But you could argue that the game-defining partnership came right after the fall of Markram's wicket, when Breedsker was joined in the middle by Devil Brevis, and they smashed 92 in the next 10.5 overs. Breedsker with now 750-plus scores in his first 11 ODI innings. That's a joint record. Brevis smashed 5 sixes in a 34-ball stay. And props also to Corbin Bosch, who kept his calm, 29 of 15, to ensure there was no funny business in the end. India spinners would have known they had their task cut out the moment KL Rahul lost the toss. That's 20 in a row for India now in men's ODIs, and that's exactly how it played out. 1 for 147 in the 21 overs between Kuldeep, Jadeja and Washington. Jadeja could only bowl 7 overs, Washington 4. India weren't helped by the fact that one of their 3 seamers had quite a bad day, with Prasidh Krishna leaking 85 in 8.2 overs, and further compounding India's woes was quite a miserable day in the field. The rare sight of Ravindra Jadeja misfielding some at the boundary, there was the catch that Jaiswal dropped which went for 6, lots of runs lost there, but despite all of that, you have to wonder if India are tying themselves down by fielding 3 spinners in a 6 bowling lineup, knowing the kind of effect Dew is supposed to have. When Gaikwad hit his maiden T20 100 a couple of years ago, it resulted in the highest successful chase against India in the format. Rather cruelly, he meets the same fate after his maiden ODI 100, but take nothing away from a fine effort. Gaikwad walked in the 10th over, was troubled early on by Marco Jansen, but then came into his own, started dominating spin, using the sweep and stepping out in equal measure, particularly impressive against Keshav Maharaj. He got to 50 from 52 balls, but he really took off after the 25th over mark, adding 54 from the last 28 balls he faced. He does have 17 List A hundreds before this in 87 games, but all of them had come as opener. He's only really got a chance in the squad because Shreyas Iyer wasn't fit, and even after being included in the squad, he has been preferred over what you would consider more natural middle-order batters such as Tilak Verma and Rishabh Pant. But this was a chance, a foot in the door, and he's done his best at the first time of asking to try and knock it down. So well done to him. Completely bossed the middle overs along with Virat Kohli in what is a record stand for India against South Africa. And for Kohli, another 100, his 53rd in ODIs, his 84th in internationals, but the first in a losing cause in nearly 7 years.